Please do subscribe or like the video or share it. So this TV box actually comes in the wrong box. It's got the wrong specifications on the box. The support email doesn't work either. Comes with a remote control that's pretty useless. But it's my favourite device so far amongst all of the TV sticks or Android devices that I've reviewed so far. And I'm going to tell you why in this video. So welcome to minitvstick.com. This is a 100% independent review. I'm going to be reviewing the Android TV box from CloudnetGo. I'm going to be reviewing their CR11S model. Don't let the box deceive you though. This device actually came in the box for a CR10S rather than CR11, and as you can see here it actually says CR11 on the back. This is actually a CR11S device. On the side it said it's got a dual core processor, but it's actually got a quad core, and it's running Android 4.2, got Wi-Fi, it's got Bluetooth, supports Miracast and DLNA, and it also supports Ethernet, and it's got 2 gigs of RAM. You also get a remote control with this package, and then you get the usual HDMI cable, a USB cable, further cable for the power, you get a user manual, and then you also get this power adapter. You can also see it takes a 5 volts input. This style of power adapter I've seen with many of the other sticks as well, so if you're in the UK you'll need some kind of power adapter. In the US I believe should be okay. So the power adapter is just so that the pins work. As you can see, the power cable actually fits into the adapter quite well. It's a very firm fit. I've had some other adapters where that connection is really loose, and it's really annoying actually, because you could be watching a movie or something, and then if anybody kind of brushes past or accidentally knocks that power socket, the whole thing goes off. So here's everything laid out that comes in a box. You can see there's the CloudNet website. If you just want to go to their website to have a look, it's www.cloudnetgo.com. If you look at the front of the device, so you can see there's infrared receiver camera, and then there's a microphone too, which will hopefully be good for Skype or some kind of other video conferencing. So as you can see on this side, there are a couple of USB ports and also a slot for memory cards. So on the other side, there are 2 further USB ports, and there's also this reset button. So in total, that's 4 USB ports, which with the built-in webcam, probably don't even need a USB hub for this. So on the back here, you've got the socket for the power, RJ45, so you've got Ethernet there. Now, that's not something that you usually get in regular kind of mini TV sticks. There's optical out and HDMI port, and finally there's an AV out as well. I think you may actually be able to choose the AV out if you don't have HDMI on your TV, but I've not actually tried that yet. And of course there's this adjustable antenna. I'm not going to say too much about the remote control, because basically my advice is that you should get a different one. And there's also the support email address. However, don't bother with the support email address. I thought I'd be nicely surprised, but in fact I was quite disappointed. I did contact CloudNet about this problem with the email, and they got back to me as well. Well, they said that anybody with a problem with the box should just contact the salesperson that they bought it from. It's a real shame really, as this was an opportunity for them to set themselves apart from the competition. And here's quite a useful diagram in the manual, which just shows you how everything's connected. The manual's not perfect, but the quality of documentation in this TV box does seem to be a little bit better than the other products I've seen so far. So as you can see, I've set up now. I've not pushed the power plug-in yet, and I've got the UK adapter here, which you may or may not need. The adapter doesn't come with the unit, so I used one that I had already. So the first thing that happens, the blue LED comes on, and this is when I realized that I should have plugged the HDMI in first. So the HDMI goes into the TV. About 30 seconds later, you get to the main screen. And as you can see, the remote control has these red LEDs to let you know that the button you pressed has activated. And one of the buttons I actually tried first was the power button. Sure enough, that works. And it seemed to send the box into a standby mode, which is great, especially in a ROM that just comes straight with the box. But unfortunately, the box didn't come back on after I pressed the power button. I'm happy to report, though, that the box does come back on usually, and it was just bad luck that it didn't happen the first time. Every other time I've done it since then, it's worked, and I've been using this box for the past 2 weeks or so, and there's not been another instance where it didn't come back on. So it was a bit strange at first actually using this remote control, because it doesn't have a gyroscope in it. You can't kind of move the cursor around by just rotating or moving the actual remote control itself. You have to go into kind of cursor mode and then use the up, down, left, right to move a cursor around, and you can switch off that cursor mode and then use the buttons. Kind of similar to using an up, down, left, right button on a phone, I guess. Found that this works really well when I could get to the buttons I needed to get to, but it really didn't work well at all when I needed to get to something I couldn't get to easily by just pressing up, down, left, right. In fact, I've found it almost impossible to do certain things which are pretty essential, and I guess it's not surprising since Android is generally a touch interface. So after a few goes on this, I would highly recommend that if you buy this box, probably should invest in a wireless remote, something like the RC9 as a separate remote control. For one thing, this remote doesn't have a full-size size keyboard, and if you're doing things like, I don't know, you want to type something into the YouTube for search, it's much quicker to type with a full size keyboard. It was a real pain to try and type in my password for my router using just this remote control, and in the end I actually had to use my other remote. It was just too frustrating. So I connected up to my wireless router for the internet. It just worked like normal. It was fine. Connected up really easily. However, my router is quite close to my TV, so I know some people have had problems with Wi-Fi on some of the other sticks, but I expect that this large antenna should give you a good range. Okay, so let's look at some of the apps, and I've been using SBMC for the last 2 weeks or so, and it's just run really stable. Everything's been fine with it. It's probably, I would say, it's the best device I've had so far if I compare it to all the mini TV sticks, and this is just a stock ROM. So I haven't upgraded the ROM in the last 2 weeks, and I've watched quite a lot of videos on this, and it's been absolutely fine, other than one exception. After watching YouTube and movies on this thing for maybe 2 or 3 hours, I did find that the sound went a bit funny, but that only happened once, and I never saw it happen again, and I haven't used it for long periods after that. So I would say from a stability point of view, the stick I have that's most stable is probably the MK808, and this thing is actually comparable to that without a need to upgrade the ROM. Okay, so let's have a look at YouTube. So I downloaded the latest YouTube client, and all I can say is that it works absolutely fine. It works well in full screen, the sound doesn't have any lag. I watched a lot of YouTube on it, and it's absolutely fine. It's great. It's a great YouTube client. I download Twitter on here as well. I don't check my Twitter that regularly, to be honest. I don't use it all the time, but I can say that it installs fine and it works fine on this TV box. Okay, so the Facebook works fine. eBay works fine. iPlayer works really well, so that's the new version of iPlayer from BBC, which is much better than the old version. So I've been spending way too much time on Reddit recently, and so I just want to show you Reddit works on this. It works really well. Okay, so TV catch-up works. Google Earth has no problems. And okay, let's move on to Skype. And I installed Skype. That installed fine. The initial logon's a bit kind of funny. Installed first time it seems to hang a little bit. Then when I went back in it seems to be fine, and it seems to work. And here I try an audio check.
Hello, welcome to service. After the beep, please record a message. Afterwards, your message will be played back to you.
Testing, 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 testing.
Testing, 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 testing.
And as you can see, that works okay. And then I set up the camera, so as you can see, to film this plant, just so that you have something on the screen. And I initiate a Skype call, a video call. And as you can see, it works fine. I could get the video from the phone streaming to the TV box, and I could get the video coming from the camera on the TV box streaming to my phone. And as you can see, the microphones also work, so it seems pretty good with Skype, especially considering you don't need to buy a separate mic or separate webcam, which can be a bit of a pain with these sticks because it can sometimes be difficult to know which webcams will work and which microphones will work and which ones won't work because of the underlying Linux operating system. Testing. So amongst all the apps I tried, only 2 had problems: Spotify and Antutu. Both of them seemed to want to go to a default portrait mode, which meant that everything went on side. Now that's really annoying because I found that I could only really reset the screen back to its normal position by switching the device off and then back on again. There may be another way, but I haven't found out yet. So all in all, my first impressions were, wow, a slightly bigger form factor does mean that the manufacturers can fit a lot more into the device by just having a little bit more space. You know, you get the extra camera, you get the microphone, the extra USB ports. It seems like quite a practical thing. And also, of course, the large antenna, the optical out, the RJ45. They're kind of things that you don't usually get in mini TV sticks. Okay, so this review is actually taking a bit longer than I usually take, and that's probably due to the fact that it's got so many features. What I've decided to do is just split this into a 2-part review. So if you're interested in more information, my second part of the review, what I'm going to do is try and show you the Antutu benchmark results, the device attaching to a Bluetooth peripheral, 720p and 1020p video performance, the device playing video from a USB hard drive, the device playing video from a network attached storage, and if I have extra time then what I'll also show you is the device whilst it's using a wireless gamepad to see if it works. So thank you for watching the video, and please subscribe, please like this video, it does help me, share it, and I hope you found the information useful. Catch you next time.